Welcome to not another episode. This is a special episode because my former co-host and new Chief Coaching Officer, Jimmy Burgess, joins the podcast. We're going to unpack his new role, all things AI in coaching. Jimmy, I did an episode when you briefly left. You went into sales, and you also actually got Logan married. So you had a lot of things going on.
I did.
Right?
I did.
And
yes.
I did an episode then when farewell and new beginnings. And I said, good friends don't say goodbye. And they say, see you later. And the later moment is here. So welcome back to the pod, Jimmy.
Hey, thanks for getting the band back together. This is, what's fun about this, Rajiv, is to see the success you're having with this after you originally talked about this and you and I did those first episodes together and really kind of launched everything as we were learning together all of this. And just to see, and I'm excited for you. There's nothing, it's the best podcast for AI for real estate in all of that's out there. And so excited to be back with you. This is like old home week and really excited to be back, obviously, with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices and Home Services of America for sure.
Yeah. So in your new role, you're back as president of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Beach Properties of Florida, where you were. And then you took on this expanded role, which is Chief Coaching Officer. You're now a chief, my friend. And with the franchise, Berkshire Hathaway, so I would love for the listening audience, I'm sure they're eager to know, and you're doing a lot of Zooms, you're in the public a lot. I'd love for the audience to kind of get to know you a little bit in terms of what your new role will entail. Yeah. And then we'll dig into a little bit of AI.
Rajiv, this is the dream job for me. I had, I know you and I have talked about this over the years. The North Star for me, I don't know when it was, about 5 years ago, was that I wanted to somehow, some way, give back to this industry. And I know there's no way I can do it at the level that it's given to me and my family. But I wanted to see if there was a way for me to help 1 million agents do at least one more deal in their business at some point. And I knew that probably video was going to, it may not happen in my lifetime, but video hopefully helps do that. That's why I started in video. And as I got looking at this, Chris Kelly just been, amazing leader. And as he and I were talking about some of the things that his vision for home services and Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, he and I just kind of talked about it, and it was just one of those where I wasn't looking for it, and then when he offered it, it's something that is truly incredible. So here's basically what it looks like. I get the opportunity to wake up every single day and figure out, how do I help the agents in our network do more deals? How do I give them an understanding of the strategies that are working today, that are easy for them to implement, that can help them serve their clients better? So what that looks like is kind of three-pronged. Really, number one is a lot of this. It's I'll be having a weekly mastermind that'll be available where I'll be sharing ideas and be joined by agents from across the country and some of the top leaders in the country on specific subjects each week to get some actionable ways that they can implement things in their business. Then secondly, we'll have a coaching program we'll start rolling out here towards the end of this year. We'll do our first one will be a 60 days to momentum program that will be available through each of the local offices and local companies. And then we will also be having events. So we'll have all of the events that we typically have had, and then we'll be adding some additional events there so that we get people the opportunity to network at a level that I've just always believed live events change lives. And so from that standpoint, I'll be helping Vince Lisi at the brand and also the team over at Home Services put together some of these regional and then also national events. So,
and, just like this podcast, Jimmy, when we first started, it was making AI approachable and actionable for all real estate agents. And your masterminds are also, as much as it is for the network, it's also for any agent that wants to plug in, zone in, and grow, right?
Let me say this. From that standpoint, locally and obviously nationally, we want to be known as the most collaborative brand in the business. And from that standpoint, this is not where we're gatekeeping anything. Everything that we're going to be doing is open to agents. If you got friends that want to be a part of this, that are with other companies, look, we're not gangs. And we're not going to shoot somebody because they got different colors. In reality, we need each other now more than ever. And the more that we can equip agents, whether they're with the network or outside, with the ability to serve their clients at the highest level, the better it does for our profession. I mean, Rajiv, you remember I think I shared this with you before. Literally, when they did the survey, the only profession that is viewed in the general public with less is attorneys. I mean, so we should be writing thank you notes to attorneys. That's terrible. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, I think any way that we can increase the professionalism of our industry, and especially those agents and I got complete confidence. If you lean into this, I've been doing these. If you lean into these, your business will get better and you will serve your clients at a higher level. So that's pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And, as I kind of look at our relationship for the last several years, and you went into sales a little bit, you took on a little bit of coaching.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of keynotes. There's no person that has the higher energy, does keynotes that I know more than you, Jim. So what have you learned in the last year? You obviously you focus a lot on sales productivity, decluttering the noise, and kind of focusing on what's helping agents grow. What are some of the top agents doing with AI that you feel is working for them?
Well, the top agents that are utilizing AI are just utilizing it in every area of their business. But let me speak a little bit. I think sometimes what can happen too is that we can look at the top producing agent and see they're all in on AI, and that's great. But I will promise you, they all started with the first few things. And so, no matter where you are in your AI journey, I just want to encourage you just to get started. So, some of the things, basic things, because that's where I'd like to start from, is from business planning. It's simple, just utilizing ChatGPT to help with business planning. Some of the top agents that are seeing growth in their business are utilizing voice to text to basically coach them or to do role play. We're also seeing a number of people are utilizing some of the tools to help them write better social media posts. These are some of the foundational things. MLS descriptions, obviously. They're leaning in and watching your podcast. And so they're hearing from other agents. But the biggest thing is just get started. I will tell you, once you get started, and Rajiv, let me just say one little thing that I would say would be helpful, that was really helpful for me. And I can't remember, it's probably you that told me this. But literally, like, I started with everything when and any new agents that are starting with this, and even experienced agents, utilize at the end of any of your prompts, ask, especially if you've got a specific task, ask it feel free to ask me additional questions that can help you clarify exactly what it is that you need to know in order to give me the best outcome possible. So that's one of those I think that has really been effective.
Yeah, no, that's a pro tip right there. I mean, I think sometimes keeping up with the news, AI is a fire hose. It doesn't stop. I feel like the 2 years since we started this journey, I feel like it's a decade in normal technology, if not more. And so I think picking one tool and going deep versus trying to master many tools, to your point, I think is a great strategy. And I still feel people are treating it like Google, and that's okay to begin. But if you treat it like a strategic partner, like this morning, Jimmy, I went on a walk, my 50-minute walk, where I declutter my mind and kind of white space. And I just started talking I call my ChatGPT Donna, by the way. So, did you watch Suits?
Yes.
So Donna is the kick-ass best executive assistant anybody could have.
Correct.
So I talked to Donna all morning, walking, strategizing about things I'm working on. So it has all that knowledge now. And when I come back to my desk, I can ask it questions. And now it's learned that much more about it. So I think, to your point, starting wherever you are, and you don't want to be at the same place this time next year. That journey, I think success is always a journey.
And look, Rajiv, I've even had agents that will just let it, as it's going, just say, hey, listen, prompt me with ideas on how I can utilize you more effectively, as a real estate agent. All of those things are just, it will actually teach and train you itself. So don't be afraid to just ask those questions. And I'm speaking specifically with ChatGPT. Obviously, there's a ton of tools that we're utilizing and we're seeing out there. But I think foundationally, obviously, starting with what makes the most sense and is the easiest and most known makes sense. And then there's this whole other level. I will tell you, literally, like with me traveling some, I would listen to your podcast and just download the ideas that I would get and think about those things. And then I would literally go back and just play with this thing. You can't break it. So, just keep playing with it, keep utilizing it. And now it's something that, I'm using it constantly in not just in my business, but in everyday life. Yeah.
And in your new role, Jimmy, as Chief Coaching Officer, you're obviously thinking of building a whole coaching program. And every agent is in their own journey, right? Mm-hmm. Coaching-wise. What role do you think AI plays in personalizing a coaching journey and help you scale your influence of reaching the 1 million agents you talked about?
Yeah, let me speak to the individual agent, Rajiv, because this is something that we've done. I've done a lot because obviously if you're coaching a diverse group of agents, you can't coach them the same way. And so the beauty of that is it is giving it the best information that you possibly can. And so what I would encourage you to do on the front end is to give it as much information as you can on your business. So taking that deep dive, and basically, I'll give you an example. I was with an agent last week, and when we were working through this together, I wanted to show them how to do this. And I said, look, we want to get a better understanding of your business. So after we broke it down, literally these are we prompted it basically to say, hey, listen, I want you to understand who I am. And I feel free to ask me additional questions to help me forecast and also plan out a strategy to reach my future goals. So what we did then is we went in is to give you a little bit of reference. I closed, I'm just going to use these easy numbers, 24 transactions last year, 12 were listings. Of the 12 listings, 6 came from sphere of influence and referrals. 3 came from farming, and 3 were referrals or whatever it was. And then breaking it down. And then also doing the same thing on the buyer side, telling it how much the average sales price was. And then what we did after that is feel free to ask me additional questions. Well, then it asked questions. Well, one of the questions then it actually ended up prompting, so what are the goals for this coming year? And literally as we went through that, we broke it down. I'd like to see 60% of my business be from listings. I mean, just more of the input that you can give. So we're utilizing that a lot on that side. As far as for me, from the standpoint of producing this and what we're putting together, I have general outline of the topics that I want to cover. What AI is going to help do, though, is format it in a way that it is easily digestible for agents from one end of the spectrum to the other as far as their production levels or maybe their experience. So these are things where literally I've been running some of these tests recently with hey, here's the first module. Can you create this with 3 different, someone who is a new agent, someone who is a agent that's been in the business for a little while but has lost momentum, and also create this in a way for a seasoned agent that is looking to recreate momentum in their business going into next year. So all of these are things that don't be afraid to take something that you have, no matter who it's from, and drop that information in there and then give it more details on who you are where it can customize it to what it is exactly that will help your business.
Yeah, no, I think that's some really great takeaways. I want to kind of unpack a couple of things there. One is most people, I was like this, and I'm sure you were too at some level. When we started using ChatGPT, we started a new chat every time we started talking to it.
Right.
So there's some level of memory that ChatGPT has about you. Now it can keep that memory for a while, long term. So you train it at basic business level. Like I'm a real estate agent, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida.
Right. Yes.
City, all of that stuff. But then when you start moving from new chats to specialized chats, where you've trained it on business, so maybe that becomes your business planning. You can rename chats, call it business planning. So when you need to go to business planning, go to that chat. When you need to do marketing, go to the marketing chat. So they're all pre-trained chats. And eventually you can build custom GPTs. To your point, for coaching agents, when you start taking one of those coaching, Burgess GPT, I'm looking forward to building that Burgess GPT, that every agent will have their own journey because they've fed it different information within the framework of your coaching program, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
No, look, Rajiv, look, this is why I think your podcast is so, critically important. I have tried to go back because as I would be out there, and I know you've been in some of these audiences. There's certain, and if I'm just recording, it's hard to see the audience. Whereas when you're speaking, I know because I've been with you when you've done this, you can see the audience. And the second that you go to a little bit advanced, it just glasses over. And then there's certain times you see it and you're like, they got this. Now let's go to 201, 301. And so I think that is the biggest thing for me is understand where you are in your personal journey, get started, and then there's certain episodes of yours where I went back and listened to a couple times because it was the next step. You know what I mean? It was something where I was like, hey, that makes a lot of sense. It's a little over my head, so it's going to challenge me. So I'm going to just digest that a little bit slower a couple more times. And then all of a sudden now it becomes a daily practice.
Yeah. And there's nothing like hands-on exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I committed to doing this every other week mastermind. We'll put a link to the show notes. You're welcome to join, watch the recordings and catch up. Every session, I actually live demo it's stuff. I don't talk much. I just kind of talk through a couple of scenarios that agents deal with. And the same assignment is given to them in a one-page doc to do homework within the next 2 weeks to internalize that knowledge and come back.
Right.
And so I think I've screwed up enough to know what works and what doesn't, and I'm still learning and kind of moving forward. To your point, you can't eliminate experimentation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, we're going to give you some proven scripts or prompts, but at some point you're going to build your own prompt and kind of go from there, right? So,
hey, Rajiv, let me ask you a question. I mean, this is the way we used to do this. I mean, hopefully this is okay.
You're a guest, Jimmy. I'm treating you like a chief coaching officer.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what are a couple of the main tools that you're seeing agents use right now? I mean, outside of obviously the the chat modules.
I would say obviously ChatGPT is a given.
Right.
And we talk a lot about video, right? I mean, because of the podcast, I use Opus Pro every week.
Right.
Like we've talked about Opus for 2 years flat.
Yeah. It just keeps getting better though, right?
Keeps getting better, 100%. Yeah. And also captions.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, from the time we last talked about it, it's gotten so much better. So I think it's important to say, okay, I focus on these 3 things, and ChatGPT is a great foundational tool.
Right.
But let's say you want to create images. Now, images took a whole leap with ChatGPT end of March.
Yeah.
One of the things that we talk about with our agents is upload a picture of your home, the front of a home, and say, make a pencil sketch of this house. And it gives you a great pencil sketch, high res, print it and frame it and give it to your client.
So good.
Out of this world.
Yeah.
Right. So there's some things that, again, look at your processes, look at the things you're doing, what takes you time, and then the tools will surface that will make a difference. The other one that I talk to some of our agents about on a mastermind, Jimmy, is building a AI song for your client.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I'll send you a few that now, anytime I do a keynote now, Jimmy, I take the theme of the conference, make a song, and I play it during my presentation.
So good.
We had pandemonium in Asheville at Momentum because the whole crowd got up and started dancing for the song because it was a really upbeat song. I'll share that with you. But again, the whole goal is to elevate the experience you're offering clients powered by AI.
Yeah.
And don't get into multiple tools. My tool stack is 3 to 4 AI tools. It's not 10.
Right.
Although I can make it 10, but then that's not the purpose. The purpose is to reduce the overwhelm, to your point. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No,
go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was just going to say those are absolutely core foundational tools. That's what we're seeing. And I think if you can start there, it will expand away from there as well, as you and I've expanded away from there with additional things. Finding those efficiency tools, and the tools are just coming at us so quickly as far as what they can do and how quickly they can get adapted. We're using ManyChat a lot on social. Sure. And basically that's if anybody's listening to this and you've ever seen it where it's like comment whatever down below and we'll send you the details. It's just an automated follow-up process that really just helps you really flow and almost scale some of the things that you're doing. It has made a huge difference on my social media, from a standpoint of both lead capture as well as the ability to get a little more exposure for those and so those specific posts. So from that standpoint, I think just get started. Just get started on this journey and you will be amazed at the road it will lead you down.
And I think to your point, what tools, I think a lot of people are aware of ChatGPT now. Like when I speak now, I say everybody's used ChatGPT. Yes, they all raise their hand. But the question really becomes now the depth of use of the same tool. Don't add another tool. Just go deeper with the same tool.
Right.
Because we all it's like technology, right? It's a iPhone. We use that analogy. But some of us are so good with our video camera, we can shoot a lot of good video with our phone. But some are just good at making phone calls. That's what pays the money too. So dialing for dollars. Don't forget that with all this. But I think it's important to go deeper instead of wider.
Yeah.
Right.
Completely agree.
So what else is happening, Jimmy? I mean, what's going on in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida?
Yeah, it's exciting times. I mean, look, as far as where we are, I think the biggest thing if agents are listening to this is to understand that it's been a difficult couple of years, challenging from a standpoint of, whether it be the lawsuit, whether it be 30-year trough in transaction numbers, whether it be interest rates. We've had headwinds. But what I would do is just encourage people that this too shall pass. And those agents that are learning how to do the business now are building very, very good foundations as far as what their business will look like into the future. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Do we see the transactions normalize? Do we see the market rebound? It's just, it always, we've always talked about that spring always comes after winter. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. And I don't know, some winters are longer and colder than others, but depending on where you are, in our area, this thing started over 3 years ago now. And so from that perspective, on average, if we're looking at a 3 or 4 year time period, we're obviously a lot closer to the end of this than we are to the beginning. And so from that standpoint, just get encouraged. On the AI side, lean in now. I do not believe that AI is going to replace professional agents, but I do absolutely believe that the folks that lean into AI are going to absolutely outperform those that don't. It just creates such an opportunity for us to serve at a higher level, to do the things that are most important. And for me, I was trying to break this down a little while ago, kind of what would it cost me to have an assistant that does everything that AI does for me? It would be $70,000, $80,000, And so from that standpoint, the best investment I make every single month is that $20. So on ChatGPT, it's the foundational for me. And then obviously I've got my ManyChat I pay for. I've got other tools that I pay for, with some of Opus and some of the others. And it just, but there's others out there that just really, captions has been great for me. You mentioned about captions. Look, the thing is that it not only has the technology got better, but just the layering in of the capabilities with the ability to have your eyes moved and AI, eye contact, just so many different ways. Just don't get bogged down by all of this. Stay focused on your clients. Understand and test this in a way and try this and utilize it in a way that it will lead you down the road to utilizing it better and serving your clients at a higher level.
Yeah. So that's great advice, Jimmy. And maybe this is not a traditional podcast. So I usually ask my podcast guests 2 closing questions, but I'm going to limit it to just one because I think that's very pertinent for what we're going to talk about, which is not AI or sales productivity, anything that's on your mind. If you had to give one piece of advice for real estate agents, and I follow you on social, I see your posts, but what are successful agents doing today to succeed? With all the noise going on in the industry, country, world, everything is a distraction if it's not growing your business, right? So what is the one piece of advice, Jimmy Burgess, tried and true principle that agents should embrace today?
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking this because I think we can get lost in all of everything all the distractions. The bottom line and the fundamental understanding of this entire business is the person who has the most real estate related conversations will absolutely be the most. Have I ever told you the story, Rajiv, about we had our buddy Doug Edridge. I don't know if you know Doug out of Chattanooga. He has a great Berkshire Hathaway company up there, runs an amazing team. I was talking to him last week and I think they're having their biggest year ever right now. And I think they'll do 300, 400, 500 transactions this year. It's crazy numbers. And just on his team, much less the company. And then he was down here visiting. We also had another friend of his that is a friend of mine out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Trey was here, runs a great team over there. Trey had a friend of his from South Louisiana who was like owned an insurance company, had about 200 insurance agents. He was listening to us as we were having this dinner, talking about all these things about efficiencies and doing business and marketing and all this stuff. And he says, let me tell y'all something. He's been kind of sitting over there quiet. And he takes his phone out and he's got it sitting on the table. He says, you know what this is? It was the phone sitting on the table. He said, you know what that is? Broke. He said, well, you know what this is? Putting the phone up to his ear. Rich. Broke when it's sitting on the table. Rich when it's up to your ear. So if I had to just tell people one thing, whatever you do, find a way to have more real estate related conversations. Everything we do with AI should create efficiencies and the opportunity to have more conversations. Everything we do marketing wise should lead to more real estate related conversations. Every single interaction we have out in our community as far as business wise should be utilized to generate more real estate related conversations. So if you're wondering what should I be doing right now, it doesn't really matter what you do as long as you're having real estate related conversations doing that. Now, creating the efficiencies and finding the best ways is great. Just go out and have those conversations. Everything else, I promise you, this is another one of those. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. If you'll go out there and have more real estate related conversations, you will do more real estate deals.
100%. Great advice. Timeless for sure. And with AI, you can just automate the mundane, so you can do more of the meaningful, which is having those conversations. Well,
Rajiv, that's where I've been teaching folks also is utilizing the voice to text to have those conversations and doing the role play, practicing with practicing with AI instead of practicing on the prospects. So you can absolutely increase where you have to have fewer conversations to have a deal, but you got to have the conversations, and the more conversations you have, the better you're going to have. You might as well if you can't have them out there, have them on here on your phone, and utilize the technology that's out there right now.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, Jimmy. So welcome back to the Chief Coaching Officer of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. I figured we'll do maybe a every quarter type of thing, check in with Jimmy type of thing, and because AI is moving fast, and we're obviously working on some stuff at the brand level as well that I'm sure we'll unveil at some point. But it's so good to have you back.
It's great to be back, and thanks, Rajiv, for always being such a great friend and such a great advocate for our industry and everything you do. Just couldn't appreciate you more.
Godspeed ahead. Thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to chatting with you next week.
Sounds great.